Example 1c. Solve the quadratic equation x squared equals 24 minus 5x. We know this is a quadratic equation because the degree is 2. Thus far, we've been solving quadratic equations by using the zero factor principle. And in order to use that principle, we need to have a 0 on one side of the equation. This means our first step is to move the 24 and the negative 5x from the right side over to the left side, leaving us with a 0 on the right. We use reverse operations to perform this step. So let me rewrite our equation. X squared equals, and I'm leaving space because I'm going to move things, 24 minus 5x. We want to use reverse operations and move these two terms to the left side. To do that, we're going to have to subtract 24 from both sides. And we're going to have to add 5x to both sides. What does that give us? On the left side, that gives us x squared plus 5x minus 24 equals 0. Notice you can't put these terms together because they're not like terms. Also observe we now have a 0 on the right side. The next thing we need to do is get a product on the left. That is, factor the polynomial on the left side of this equation. X squared plus 5x minus 24 factors as x plus 8 times x minus 3. We have x plus 8 times x minus 3 equals 0, and we're all set up to use the zero factor principle. Set each factor equal to 0. That is, x plus 8 is equal to 0, or x minus 3 is equal to 0. X plus 8 is equal to 0. That means to solve for x, we subtract 8, and that gives us that x must be equal to negative 8. Or x minus 3 is 0. We isolate x by adding 3 to both sides, which gives us that x is 3. Let's check it. Put negative 8 here, and that would give us 0. Put 3 here, and that would also give us 0. Therefore, our solution set to this quadratic equation is simply the two numbers, negative 8 and 3. D. Solve the quadratic equation 2x squared equals 14x. The degree is 2. It's a quadratic equation. Our first step is to get 0 on the right side. That means we need to move the 14x from the right to the left by subtracting it from both sides. So let me rewrite our equation. 2x squared equals 14x. Subtract 14x from the right and from the left so that we get 0 on the right side. That tells me on the left side we have 2x squared minus 14x equals 0. Perfect. The next step is to get a product on the left side. That means we want to factor this polynomial. Now, this isn't a trinomial, it's a binomial. Not only that, we recognize that we can factor this polynomial by taking out the greatest common factor. The greatest common factor for this polynomial is the thing that will divide into 2x squared and minus 14x. And that's 2x. Notice we can pull a 2x out from both terms. When we pull a 2x out, that leaves us with x minus 7 inside the quantity. We now have a product on the left side and a 0 on the right. We can apply the zero factor principle, which tells us that either the first factor, 2x, is equal to 0, or the second factor, x minus 7, is equal to 0. 2x will equal 0. Well, let's divide both sides. 2x will equal 0 when x is simply 0 divided by 2, or x is 0. Over here, add 7 to isolate the x. That tells us that x equals 7 is our next solution. So that means our solution set for this equation are the two numbers 0 and 7. Perfect. Example 1e. Solve the quadratic equation 18x squared equals 12 plus 15x. All right, it's a quadratic equation because the degree is 2. Our first step is to get 0 on the right side. This means we need to move the 12 and the 15x to the left side. Let me rewrite our equation. X squared, and again I'm going to leave space because I'm moving things, so x squared equals 12 plus 15x. Let's move those two terms from the right to the left. That means we're going to subtract 12 from both sides, and we're going to subtract 15x from both sides. What's that give me on the left side? On the left side, that gives me 18x squared minus 15x minus 12 equals 0. Good, we now have a 0 on the right side. Our next step is to obtain a product on the left side. That means we want to factor this polynomial. Well, let's see. I observed that 18, 15, and 12 are all divisible by the number 3. So let me factor out a 3 from each of these terms. That gives me 3 times 6x squared minus 5x minus 4 equals 0. Can we factor this polynomial any farther? Because it's still a quadratic equation, so we still want to factor it down to linear factors. Well, note, using your box method, you could obtain that 6x squared minus 5x minus 4 factors is the following. 3x minus 4 times 2x plus 1. Our left side is a product. 3 times 3x minus 4 times 2x plus 1 equals 0. We can now apply the zero factor property, which says we set each factor equal to 0. That means 3 equals 0, or 3x minus 4 equals 0, or 2x plus 1 equals 0. 3, let's look at our first factor that we've set equal to 0. 3 cannot be 0. That's impossible. 3 is never 0. That means this here is disregarded. This doesn't factor into our solution at all. There's no x variable attached to 3. In fact, some people choose to simply divide both sides of our equation by 3 and get rid of it and not even worry about it. You can divide both sides by 3 and get rid of it, or you can simply know that 3 never equals 0, so we'll just disregard that factor. So instead, we'll focus on the other two factors. 3x minus 4 equals 0 and 2x plus 1 equals 0. Well, what will make 3x minus 4 equal to 0? Let's solve for x. Add 4 to both sides first. That gives us 3x equals 4. And then divide by 3 on both sides. That means x is 4/3. If you take 4/3 and substitute it into this quantity, you get 0. How about this? 2x plus 1 equals 0. So again, solving for x means we have to isolate the x, so we're going to subtract 1 first. That gives us 2x equals -1. And we divide both sides by 2. That tells us x equals -1/2 is another solution. If we were to take -1/2 and substitute it here, we'd get 0 for this factor. That means the solution to this quadratic equation consists of the two numbers negative 1/2, and 4/3.